Welcome to Freema Audiobooks, a place where long-term wealth is understood not as luck or shortcuts, but as the result of mindset, patience, and intentional systems built over time. And we're glad you're here for an audiobook designed to shift the way you think about money, income, and financial freedom. If you have ever wondered how some people slowly but consistently build wealth without trading all of their time for money, or felt curious about creating income that supports your life rather than controls it, this audiobook was created for you because passive income begins in the mind long before it appears in bank accounts. Today's audiobook is titled Audiobook Passive Income Build Wealth and Financial Freedom Mindset, and it is a deep, practical exploration of how wealth is built through long-term thinking, smart systems, and disciplined habits rather than hype or get-rich-quick promises. This audiobook focuses on developing the mindset required to create passive income streams, understanding how money can work for you, and building financial confidence step by step so freedom becomes realistic rather than abstract. Before we begin, we invite you to subscribe to Freema Audiobooks like this audiobook, share it with someone who wants to build wealth patiently and responsibly, and leave a comment telling us where you are listening from, because your support allows this channel to continue creating thoughtful audiobooks that encourage real financial growth and independence. Before we begin the core content, it's important to know that this audiobook is carefully structured into 8 connected chapters, each one designed to reshape the way you think about money, income,
and freedom so that wealth becomes something you build intentionally rather than chase emotionally. Each chapter builds on the previous one, allowing your mindset to evolve gradually and realistically, which is essential when learning how passive income and financial freedom actually work in the real world.
Chapter 1. The Passive Income Mindset, Why Financial Freedom Always Begins in the Mind. In this chapter, we explore why building passive income and long-term wealth always begins with mindset, how your beliefs about money shape every financial decision you make, and why developing the right perspective is the most important foundation for achieving true financial freedom. Passive income is often misunderstood as something technical or external, but in reality it begins internally with the way you think about money, time, effort, and patience, because without the right mindset, even the best opportunities are misused or ignored. Many people work hard their entire lives without building wealth simply because they believe income must always be tied directly to time and effort, which quietly limits their ability to see alternative possibilities. This belief creates financial exhaustion. Exhaustion leads to short-term thinking. Short-term thinking blocks long-term wealth. In contrast, people who build passive income first change how they think. They begin to see money as a tool rather than a reward. They learn to separate effort from income. This shift creates awareness. Awareness opens opportunity. Opportunity leads to systems. Systems create freedom. A passive income mindset requires patience because wealth built correctly grows slowly at first, often without visible results, which is why many people quit too early. When immediate results are expected, discouragement appears quickly. Discouragement weakens consistency. Weak consistency prevents compounding. Compounding is the true engine of wealth. Those who understand this remain calm during slow progress. Calm allows discipline. Discipline sustains action. Action compounds results. Over time, patience transforms effort into leverage. This is how wealth grows quietly. Another key part of the passive income mindset is understanding the difference between consumption and creation. Because most financial struggle comes from earning money only to spend it immediately without building assets. When money flows only outward, freedom becomes impossible. Winners reverse this pattern. They learn to direct money toward assets. Assets create income. Income reduces dependence on labor. Reduced dependence creates choice. Choice creates freedom. This mental shift changes spending habits. It changes priorities. It changes long-term outcomes. Wealth becomes intentional. Fear plays a major role in blocking passive income because unfamiliar financial ideas often feel risky even when they are reasonable and well-structured. Many people avoid investing systems or long-term planning not because they are dangerous, but because they are unfamiliar. Familiarity feels safe. Safety feels comfortable. Comfort prevents growth. A passive income mindset embraces learning rather than avoidance. Learning reduces fear. Reduced fear allows action. Action creates experience. Experience builds confidence. Confidence sustains growth. Time perspective is another critical mindset shift, because people who build wealth think in years and decades rather than weeks and months. When time is viewed narrowly, decisions become impulsive. Impulsive decisions weaken financial stability. Long-term thinkers accept delayed gratification. Delayed gratification strengthens discipline. Discipline protects capital. Protected capital compounds. Compounding rewards patience. This mindset transforms daily financial behavior. Small decisions gain importance. Consistency becomes powerful. Passive income also requires responsibility, because blaming circumstances, employers, or economies removes personal agency and keeps financial control external. When responsibility is avoided, progress stalls. When responsibility is accepted, clarity appears. Clarity leads to planning. Planning leads to systems. Systems create income streams. These streams grow slowly but reliably. Ownership replaces helplessness. Financial confidence grows steadily. Another important mindset shift is understanding that passive income is not about doing nothing, but about doing the right work up front so effort decreases over time while income continues. This reframing removes unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations create disappointment. Realistic expectations build resilience. Resilience supports long-term effort. Effort builds systems. Systems reduce future effort. This cycle creates freedom gradually rather than suddenly. Ultimately, the passive income mindset teaches that financial freedom is not a destination reached quickly, but a direction chosen deliberately, where habits, patience, and systems slowly reshape your relationship with money. When mindset changes, behavior follows. When behavior changes, outcomes shift. When outcomes shift consistently, freedom becomes possible. This chapter lays the mental foundation upon which every form of sustainable wealth is built, because without the right mindset, no strategy can last. But with it, even simple actions can grow into long-term financial independence. Once the mindset around passive income and financial freedom begins to shift, the next logical step is understanding how money actually moves and functions in real life. Because without this understanding, even the right mindset lacks direction and structure. In the next chapter, we move from internal beliefs to practical awareness by exploring the fundamental difference between active income and passive income, and why this distinction changes everything. Chapter 2. Active income versus passive income. Understanding how money really works. In this chapter, we explore the essential difference between active income and passive income, why most people remain financially limited without realizing it, and how understanding this distinction allows you to design a life where money supports your time instead of consuming it. Most people are introduced to money through active income, where time and effort are directly exchanged for payment. And while this model is familiar and necessary in the beginning, it quietly creates a ceiling that limits financial growth and personal freedom. When income stops the moment work stops, stress becomes permanent because survival depends on constant effort. This creates dependency. Dependency reduces flexibility. Reduced flexibility limits opportunity. Over time, exhaustion replaces ambition. Even high earners feel trapped. Understanding this dynamic is critical. Awareness changes perspective. Perspective opens new options. Passive income operates differently because it is built on systems that continue generating income after the initial effort has been applied, allowing money to flow even when time is not actively exchanged. This does not mean passive income is effortless, but rather that the effort is front-loaded instead of continuous. Early work builds structure. Structure produces income. Income reduces time pressure. Reduced pressure creates freedom. Freedom allows better decisions. This cycle explains why passive income is central to financial independence. One of the reasons many people struggle to build passive income is because they misunderstand the timeline involved, expecting quick results from systems that are designed to grow gradually. Progress appears slow. Doubt arises. Doubt weakens consistency. Inconsistency prevents compounding. Compounding is where passive income becomes powerful. Those who understand this remain committed during early stages. Commitment sustains action. Action builds momentum. Momentum eventually produces visible results. Another important distinction between active and passive income lies in scalability. Because active income is limited by personal capacity, while passive income can grow independently of time, there are only so many hours in a day. Energy has limits. Passive systems remove this constraint. Systems work continuously. Continuous work creates leverage. Leverage multiplies outcomes. This shift changes how people plan their finances. Time becomes valuable. Energy is protected. Focus improves. Risk perception also changes when this distinction is understood, because relying solely on active income creates hidden risk that is often ignored until disruption occurs. Job loss, illness, or economic shifts can instantly remove income. Passive income diversifies risk. Multiple streams increase stability. Stability reduces fear. Reduced fear improves decision-making. Financial confidence grows. Planning becomes proactive rather than reactive. Active income teaches discipline and responsibility, which are valuable, but passive income teaches patience, strategy, and long-term thinking, which are essential for wealth creation. Both forms of income have purpose. Active income funds learning, passive income funds freedom. When combined intentionally, they create balance. Balance supports sustainability. Sustainability supports growth. Understanding this difference also reshapes spending behavior, because money earned actively begins to be seen as seed capital rather than disposable income. Spending becomes intentional. Saving becomes strategic. Investing becomes purposeful. Each dollar gains direction. Direction compounds over time. financial habits evolve, outcomes improve. Ultimately, understanding how active and passive income function differently allows you to step out of survival-based thinking and into system-based thinking, where money is designed to work continuously rather than constantly demanding your presence. This chapter provides the clarity needed to move beyond effort alone and toward intelligent financial structure, setting the stage for building real, lasting financial freedom. Once the difference between active income and passive income becomes clear, the next essential step is understanding what actually creates passive income in real life. Because without assets, income can never become independent from time or effort. In the next chapter, we explore how wealth is built through assets, why assets matter more than income alone, and how ordinary people begin constructing them step by step. Chapter 3. Building income-generating assets, the true engine of passive income. In this chapter, we explore what income-generating assets truly are, why they form the backbone of every passive income strategy, and how building assets allows money to work continuously instead of remaining dependent on your daily labor. Passive income does not exist on its own but flows from assets that are intentionally built, acquired, and maintained over time, which is why understanding assets is one of the most important steps toward financial freedom. An asset is anything that produces income or grows in value without requiring constant direct effort. And this simple definition changes how wealth is approached entirely. Without assets, income remains fragile. With assets, income gains stability. Stability creates confidence. Confidence allows long-term planning. Planning supports freedom. Assets quietly replace dependence on time. This shift marks the transition from working for money to designing systems that support life. Many people mistakenly believe assets are only for the wealthy, but in reality, assets are built gradually through discipline, patience, and consistent allocation of resources rather than large sums of money. Small investments grow when given time. Time allows compounding. Compounding rewards consistency. This understanding removes intimidation. Accessibility increases. Action becomes possible. Wealth becomes realistic rather than distant. Asset building begins with awareness rather than abundance. There are many forms of income-generating assets, including investments, businesses, intellectual property, and systems that produce value repeatedly, but the common thread is that each requires thoughtful setup before producing results. Early stages demand effort. Effort builds structure. Structure creates income flow. Flow increases stability. Stability supports growth. Over time, the relationship between effort and income shifts, work decreases, returns continue. This transition is where freedom begins to appear. One of the most powerful aspects of asset building is that it aligns effort with long-term rewards rather than immediate consumption, which changes financial behavior at its core. Money is no longer spent impulsively, it is directed intentionally. Each decision considers future impact. Short-term pleasure loses priority. Long-term benefit gains importance. This mindset shift reshapes habits. Habits shape outcomes. Outcomes compound quietly. Risk is often misunderstood in asset building, because not building assets carries its own hidden risk of permanent dependence on active income. While assets involve uncertainty, informed risk combined with education reduces exposure dramatically. Knowledge replaces fear. Planning replaces impulse. Diversification spreads risk. Systems protect capital. Over time, confidence grows, control increases. Passive income becomes less intimidating. Asset building also requires delayed gratification because results are rarely immediate, yet those who remain consistent benefit from exponential growth over time. Early progress feels slow. Slow progress tests patience. Patience strengthens discipline. Discipline sustains action. Action compounds results. Eventually, growth becomes visible. Momentum accelerates. Rewards feel earned rather than accidental. Another key advantage of assets is scalability. Because assets can grow independently of personal time and energy, unlike active income which remains limited by physical capacity, assets operate continuously. Continuous operation builds leverage. Leverage multiplies results. This scalability changes financial ceilings. Possibility expands. Freedom becomes achievable. Ultimately, building income-generating assets is the true engine of passive income, because assets transform effort into systems and systems into freedom over time. This chapter lays the groundwork for understanding how wealth is actually created and sustained, preparing you to explore specific strategies and structures that turn mindset into measurable financial independence. Now that the role of assets is clear and the foundation of passive income is firmly understood, the next natural step is exploring how those assets are actually created and organized in real life. Because theory alone does not build wealth unless it is translated into practical, repeatable strategies. In the next chapter, we focus on passive income strategies that work in the real world, not as shortcuts, but as structured approaches that reward patience, discipline, and consistency. Chapter 4. Passive income strategies that work, turning knowledge into systems. In this chapter, we explore practical passive income strategies, why sustainable systems always outperform shortcuts, and how understanding structure and process allows ordinary people to turn long-term thinking into reliable income streams. Passive income strategies succeed not because they are secret or complex, but because they are built on clear principles that align effort with long-term reward, allowing income to grow gradually rather than appear suddenly. Many people search for fast results, but speed often introduces fragility, whereas sustainable strategies prioritize durability and consistency. This understanding changes expectations. Expectations shape behavior. Behavior determines outcomes. When strategies are chosen with patience, progress becomes predictable. Predictability builds confidence. Confidence supports commitment. Commitment sustains growth. Every effective passive income strategy shares a common structure which includes upfront effort, ongoing maintenance, and long-term compounding, even though the specific form may differ. Whether the asset is digital, financial, or business-based, the pattern remains consistent. Early work establishes the foundation. Foundations support systems. Systems generate income. Income reinforces discipline. Discipline sustains systems. Over time, effort decreases while results continue. This shift defines true passive income. One reason many strategies fail is because they are approached emotionally rather than structurally, driven by excitement or fear instead of planning and understanding. Emotion distorts judgment. Distorted judgment leads to inconsistency. Inconsistency prevents compounding. Winners approach strategies calmly. They analyze risk. They understand timelines. They commit deliberately. This approach reduces mistakes. Stability increases, progress continues. Passive income strategies also require alignment with personal skills, resources, and risk tolerance, because success depends on consistency more than perfection. A strategy that fits your lifestyle is more likely to be maintained. Maintenance protects systems. Protected systems compound. Compounding rewards patience. This alignment prevents burnout. Sustainability increases. Freedom becomes realistic. Diversification plays a critical role because relying on a single strategy creates vulnerability. While multiple aligned systems increase stability and resilience, diversification spreads risk. Risk reduction improves confidence. Confidence encourages long-term thinking. Long-term thinking improves decisions. Over time, diversified systems support one another. Income becomes reliable. Education strengthens strategy execution, because understanding how a system works reduces fear and improves adaptability when conditions change. Knowledge improves planning. Planning reduces mistakes. Reduced mistakes protect capital. Protected capital grows. Learning continues alongside progress. Growth remains intentional. Maintenance is often overlooked but essential, because even passive systems require attention to remain effective and relevant. Small adjustments preserve performance. Performance sustains income. Income reinforces effort. This feedback loop keeps systems healthy over time. Neglect creates decay. Care preserves growth. Ultimately, effective passive income strategies are not about doing nothing, but about doing the right work once and maintaining it wisely so income continues with less dependence on time. This chapter bridges mindset and execution, showing how thoughtful strategy transforms assets into reliable sources of financial freedom. As passive income strategies begin to take shape and systems slowly start working in the background, a deeper challenge emerges that determines whether wealth grows calmly or collapses under pressure, and that challenge is how risk, patience, and expectations are managed over time. In the next chapter, we explore why emotional control, realistic timelines, and disciplined thinking are just as important as strategy itself when building lasting financial freedom. Chapter 5. Risk, Patience, and Expectations, Protecting Wealth While It Grows. In this chapter, we explore how managing risk wisely, cultivating patience, and setting realistic expectations protect passive income systems from emotional decisions, prevent costly mistakes, and allow wealth to grow steadily without unnecessary stress or disappointment. Risk is an unavoidable part of building wealth, yet most financial setbacks occur not because risk exists, but because it is misunderstood, ignored, or reacted to emotionally rather than managed intentionally over time. Many people either avoid risk completely, which limits growth, or embrace it recklessly, which exposes them to unnecessary losses, while winners learn to approach risk calmly through education, planning, and diversification. Understanding risk replaces fear with clarity. Clarity improves decision-making. Better decisions reduce losses. Reduced losses protect momentum. Momentum sustains confidence. Confidence supports long-term effort. This balanced approach allows growth without constant anxiety. Patience plays a central role in passive income because systems designed to produce reliable income rarely deliver immediate results, and expecting fast outcomes often leads to premature quitting or destructive changes. Early stages of growth feel slow. Slow progress tests belief. Doubt tempts distraction. Distraction breaks consistency. Winners remain steady during quiet periods, trusting the process because they understand how compounding works over time. This trust stabilizes behavior. Stability preserves systems grow. Growth eventually becomes visible. Patience turns waiting into progress. Expectations shape emotional responses, which is why unrealistic expectations are one of the greatest threats to financial freedom, even when strategies are sound. When people expect constant upward movement, temporary setbacks feel like failure. Failure triggers panic. Panic leads to impulsive decisions. Impulsive decisions damage systems. Winners avoid this cycle by setting expectations based on reality rather than hype. Realistic expectations reduce stress. Reduced stress improves clarity. Clarity supports discipline. Discipline protects wealth. This emotional stability allows progress to continue uninterrupted. Risk management also includes understanding that no single asset or system should carry the full weight of financial security, because concentration increases vulnerability even when returns appear strong. Diversification spreads exposure. Spread exposure reduces impact. Reduced impact protects confidence. Confidence supports patience. Patience sustains consistency. Over time, diversified systems support one another, creating stability even during market fluctuations or unexpected challenges. This structure allows wealth to endure rather than fluctuate wildly. Another overlooked aspect of patience is resisting the urge to constantly change strategies, because frequent changes often interrupt compounding before it has time to work. Constant adjustment creates noise. Noise obscures progress. Progress appears invisible. Winners make adjustments deliberately rather than reactively, allowing systems time to mature. This restraint strengthens outcomes. Consistency compounds returns. Confidence deepens. Long-term vision remains intact. Emotional discipline becomes essential when income begins to grow, because increased resources can amplify both wise and unwise decisions. Without discipline, higher income leads to higher spending rather than greater freedom. Winners remain intentional. They reinvest wisely. They protect capital. They avoid lifestyle inflation. This restraint preserves leverage. Leverage multiplies outcomes. Wealth grows sustainably. Patience also allows learning to happen organically, because experience teaches lessons that theory alone cannot provide. Each phase of growth reveals new insights. Insights improve strategy. Strategy strengthens systems. Systems increase reliability. Reliability reduces stress. Growth becomes calmer and more controlled. Ultimately, managing risk, patience, and expectations is what allows passive income to feel empowering rather than overwhelming. Because when emotions are regulated and systems are respected, wealth grows steadily instead of chaotically. This chapter reinforces that financial freedom is not built through urgency, but through calm, informed, and consistent decisions that protect progress while allowing time to do its work. As risk becomes managed, patience becomes practiced, and expectations settle into something realistic and grounded. The next stage of financial freedom begins to reveal itself through expansion rather than acceleration. Because long-term wealth is strengthened not by relying on a single source of income, but by building systems that support one another. In the next chapter, we explore how multiple income streams create resilience, stability, and flexibility, allowing wealth to grow even when one stream slows or changes. Chapter 6, Building Multiple Income Streams, Creating Stability Through Diversification. In this chapter, we explore how building multiple income streams strengthens financial security, reduces dependency on any single source of income, and creates a resilient foundation that allows wealth to grow steadily across changing conditions and economic cycles. Relying on a single source of income, even when it is stable or profitable, quietly concentrates risk and limits flexibility, which is why individuals who achieve lasting financial freedom gradually build multiple streams that work together rather than against each other. When income flows from different directions, pressure decreases because no single stream carries the full weight of responsibility. Reduced pressure improves decisions. Better decisions protect capital. Protected capital compounds. Over time, stability replaces anxiety. Financial confidence grows naturally. Choice expands. Freedom becomes practical. Multiple income streams do not need to be created all at once, because attempting to build everything simultaneously often leads to dilution of effort and burnout rather than sustainable progress. Winners approach diversification gradually, strengthening one system before adding another, allowing learning and experience to guide expansion. This sequence preserves focus. Focus improves execution. Execution strengthens systems. Strong systems support expansion. Growth remains controlled. Discipline stays intact. Progress becomes manageable rather than overwhelming. Each additional income stream increases resilience by absorbing shocks that might otherwise disrupt financial stability. Because when one source fluctuates, others continue providing support. This cushioning effect reduces emotional reactivity. Reduced reactivity improves patience. Patience sustains consistency. Consistency compounds results. Over time, income becomes smoother. Stress decreases. Planning becomes easier. Life feels more balanced. Diversification also allows income streams to complement one another. where active income funds asset creation. Assets generate passive income, and passive income creates time for further growth. This synergy transforms effort into leverage. Leverage multiplies outcomes. Outcomes reinforce discipline. Discipline supports further expansion. Wealth grows intelligently rather than aggressively. Another benefit of multiple income streams is increased adaptability. Because diverse systems respond differently to market shifts, technological changes, and personal circumstances, flexibility replaces fragility. Fragility disappears, confidence deepens, long-term planning becomes possible, opportunity becomes visible, winners remain prepared rather than reactive. Building multiple streams also reshapes identity, because individuals begin to see themselves as system builders rather than earners, shifting focus from survival to strategy. Strategy improves decisions. Decisions improve outcomes. Outcomes reinforce confidence. Growth accelerates steadily. Financial independence becomes realistic. Over time, diversification strengthens long-term vision, because income stability allows focus on quality of life rather than constant financial pressure. Purpose becomes clearer. Goals feel achievable. Progress becomes intentional. Freedom grows quietly. Ultimately, multiple income streams do not complicate wealth when built thoughtfully, but simplify life by reducing dependence, increasing resilience, and creating options that allow financial freedom to grow calmly and sustainably over time. As income streams begin to multiply and systems work together, a deeper transformation occurs that determines whether wealth supports freedom or creates new stress. And that transformation lies in how money is managed, allocated, and respected. In the next chapter, we explore how wealth management and financial discipline protect progress and ensure that income leads to freedom rather than new limitations. Chapter 7. Wealth Management and Discipline Protecting Financial Freedom. In this chapter, we explore how disciplined wealth management ensures that income turns into lasting freedom, how intentional allocation protects progress, and why managing money wisely matters as much as earning it. As income increases, financial discipline becomes even more important, because without structure, higher earnings often lead to higher spending rather than greater freedom. Many people earn more yet feel no closer to independence because money flows out as quickly as it arrives. Winners approach wealth differently. They manage intentionally. They allocate purposefully. They plan long-term. This discipline preserves leverage. Leverage multiplies opportunity. Opportunity supports freedom. Progress remains protected. Wealth management begins with awareness, because understanding where money goes creates control and removes uncertainty. That often leads to stress and impulsive behavior. Clarity improves confidence. Confidence strengthens discipline. Discipline stabilizes habits. Habits protect systems. Systems sustain income. Over time, order replaces chaos. Financial life becomes calmer. Allocation plays a central role because directing income toward reinvestment, savings, and asset growth ensures that wealth compounds rather than stagnates. Spending becomes conscious. Consumption becomes intentional. Excess is reduced. Capital is preserved. Preserved capital grows. Growth supports independence. This balance prevents lifestyle inflation from eroding progress. Discipline also involves resisting emotional spending triggered by fear, comparison, or short-term gratification, which often undermines long-term goals. Winners remain grounded. They align spending with values. They delay gratification. This restraint strengthens self-trust. Self-trust reinforces consistency. Consistency compounds results. Wealth protection includes planning for uncertainty through buffers, reserves, and contingency strategies that prevent setbacks from becoming disasters. Preparation reduces fear. Reduced fear improves decisions. Stability increases. Confidence grows. Systems remain intact even during disruption. As wealth grows, simplicity becomes valuable, because unnecessary complexity increases stress and reduces clarity. Winners simplify where possible. Simplicity improves focus. Focus strengthens discipline. Discipline sustains growth. Financial life becomes manageable rather than overwhelming. Over time, disciplined wealth management transforms income into security, security into flexibility, and flexibility into freedom. Choices expand, pressure decreases, purpose becomes clearer, life feels supported rather than constrained by money. Ultimately, managing wealth wisely ensures that financial success serves life rather than controls it, allowing freedom to grow alongside income in a balanced and sustainable way. With mindset, income systems, risk management, diversification, and disciplined wealth management working together, the final element of financial freedom emerges not as a strategy, but as a way of living intentionally over time. In this final chapter, we explore how aligning money with values and long-term vision turns wealth into lasting fulfillment, rather than endless pursuit. Chapter 8. Financial Freedom as a Lifestyle, Aligning Wealth with Purpose. In this chapter, we explore how true financial freedom becomes a lifestyle rather than a goal, how aligning money with values creates fulfillment, and why wealth feels complete only when it supports meaning, balance, and long-term purpose. Financial freedom reaches its fullest expression when money supports life rather than dominating it, allowing choices to be made from intention instead of necessity. Winners do not measure success only by numbers, but by flexibility, peace of mind, and the ability to direct time toward what matters most. This perspective reshapes priorities. Priorities guide decisions. Decisions align behavior. Behavior sustains balance. Balance supports fulfillment. Aligning wealth with values ensures that income and assets enhance quality of life rather than creating new pressures or distractions. When values guide spending and investment, satisfaction deepens, regret diminishes, purpose strengthens, life feels coherent, freedom becomes meaningful. Long-term vision anchors financial decisions, preventing short-term temptations from undermining future stability. Vision provides direction. Direction stabilizes habits. Habits sustain progress. Progress remains aligned with purpose. Confidence grows internally. Financial freedom as a lifestyle also includes generosity, contribution, and the ability to support others without compromising stability. Giving reinforces abundance. Abundance strengthens confidence. Confidence reduces fear. Fear no longer drives decisions. As systems mature, simplicity and balance take precedence over constant expansion, allowing wealth to serve rather than demand attention. Complexity fades. Clarity increases. Life feels lighter. Freedom becomes sustainable. Adaptability remains essential because life evolves and priorities change, requiring wealth structures to remain flexible rather than rigid. Flexibility protects relevance. Relevance sustains freedom. Growth continues peacefully. Ultimately, financial freedom is not the absence of work or effort, but the presence of choice, control, and alignment, where money becomes a supportive tool rather than a constant concern. When wealth aligns with purpose, freedom feels complete. As this audiobook comes to a close, it becomes clear that passive income and financial freedom are not created through shortcuts or sudden breakthroughs, but through a steady process of reshaping mindset, building systems, managing risk, and aligning money with long-term purpose, often long before visible results appear. Throughout these chapters, you have explored how wealth grows from understanding money differently, creating income, generating assets, applying practical strategies, exercising patience, diversifying income, managing wealth responsibly, and ultimately turning financial success into a balanced and intentional way of living. When these elements work together, money stops being a source of pressure and becomes a tool that supports choice, stability, and fulfillment over time. If this audiobook helped you see wealth and passive income more clearly, or encouraged you to think differently about your financial future, we invite you to subscribe to Freema audiobooks like this audiobook, and share it with someone who is ready to build financial freedom patiently and responsibly, because the right ideas, heard at the right moment, can quietly change the direction of a life. You are also encouraged to leave a comment and share which chapter or insight resonated with you most, as your feedback helps this channel continue creating thoughtful, practical audiobooks that support long-term growth. Thank you for listening to Freema Audiobooks, and remember that true financial freedom is not something you chase, but something you build deliberately, consistently, and with purpose over time.